What is groovy, everyone? I'll answer a few questions today. First off, thanks for all the comments in these last few videos that I've made. I'll definitely address that even further, as I've noticed there's quite a few comments, and I'm going to try to collect all those together and respond to all of those. But there were a couple questions to do with the sexual programming and reincarnation cycles. And let's dive into a couple people's belief systems on reincarnation, what it seems to be, and if you think that you actually are already living multiple lives simultaneously, if you can get out of body and do these kinds of things. Someone like Savan Bomar will say that what occurs in your life is if when you pass on, you'll become the exact opposite reflection of what you are here now. So your biases and things will come out in your next format. But then you have somebody like a Neville Goddard that says reincarnation doesn't happen at all. It's just not true. And so those are two of the more two very master teachers, but they seem to have a very different opinion on what reincarnation is and if it occurs. And we can get into Buddhist training and the philosophies of different types of Christian mysticism and other belief systems. And sometimes I wonder if it just comes down to a loss in translation and a loss in it's always in translating it, even if it's within one language. What does that really mean? Or did somebody screw the text up? Or have we just been thrown on a wild goose chase, as with some of these things that we experience and that we what are taught to us, what's taught to us? So the initial question was about programming the lower base chakra, and we have to really come to this from the point that the lower chakra isn't worse. It's not less than. Just like the blue chakra, the purple one, is not better than. Because you could find people, all of these are programmed into us to a degree. You can look at the orange chakra and the eating habits that people have, and they're programmed into that. They're programmed into talking all the time, and the blue chakras, and then they're people that are always too spiritual, and they're in the purple chakra, and the people that are already always wanting to participate in sex and the lower chakras. Now, all of these in and of themselves are perfectly good. They can be out of balance to a degree. And if they're not all turned on, and again, it doesn't matter if they're all turned on. Who cares? I mean, if you're having a good enough experience around people that are being very spiritual, and everybody's beaming out purple rays of spirituality, and that's the space and time that you'd like to be in, then groovy. And if you're around people that like to talk about a lot of things, that's great too. And if you're going to be around people that are very heartfelt in everything they do, there's certainly space for that. And if you want to be around people that eat, and you want to be around fornicating, making love, whatever you'd like to call it, these are all parts of your experience. Now, to have all of them turned on and vibrating correctly, well, obviously that's going to be of a much higher order of participating with what's around you. Those are great when that happens. Like you can always tell when you're talking to somebody. Where are they talking from? How are you communicating with that person? Sometimes you just make eye contact with somebody and they know what's up. Sometimes you can, you're hungry with someone, and sometimes you just want to have a talk with someone. Sometimes you could have more than one lit up at one time. But again, these are all the programming of each of these things has always occurred. It's always occurring. The people you walk by, depending on where they're beaming from, what they're expressing, that will influence and flux into yours. Like, you could think about it in the most basic way. If you walk into a place that's overtly sexual, well, that's going to entrain you into that thing. It's a red light district for a reason. If you go into a nightclub, or if you go into you go into a room and everything's poetry and everyone's speaking and there's a lot of awareness and spirituality, and now people are so you're just changing the environment. It can be done with colors, and it can be done with smells, and it can come off of people. So what do I think about the programming? Most specifically to create another life and to keep us involved in a reincarnation cycle. I don't know. I don't necessarily think I believe in reincarnation in the way that Savan explains it either. I think I'd be more in as far as I can see, because I've at times been able to run more than one life that I'm walking around in, meaning I get into a place that is just as real as this right here, and I know this body's here sleeping. It's a level, and I tried to explain this in another video a while back, that I said it was above the level of astral projection. It was above the level. So you go through the first level would be what you'd call a subconscious dream world, and in those places you're normally in a third person, and you're receiving information from a subconscious place, and everything is always done in symbol formats, so you can understand it from that, because you're just observing and you're not lucid. And then you can step the dream up to being in first person, and then you step it up to being lucid. And once you're in lucid dreaming, then you're in a conscious mind. Then you can get into astral projection and getting out of body. And astral projection can be done in putting yourself in a different time or place. And getting out of body, I think, well, you can put the two ideas together. I think getting out of body mostly just means you're kind of getting out of your body attached to a silver cord and walking around in your environment in real time. But then there's something beyond that where I didn't see a silver cord, and I was literally in what I was explaining to people as a 4-level deep inception dream, meaning I was running this body that was sleeping, and I knew it, and I had 3 more bodies that were in environments as absolutely real as this, and I was talking to people, I was reading, I was doing everything that I would do in this plane of existence in another plane. So that gave me a little bit more of insight to what I think reincarnation is. You're part of the conscious creation at all times anyways. So any way you want to look at it, yeah, maybe if you believe in reincarnation, that's what happens. Maybe that's part of the learning curve. Maybe that's part of the process. Maybe some of us already bypassed those things, and people talk about past lives, but I wonder if they're also examining parallel lives that they're just unaware of. It's what we talk about when I've explained this before, what having deja vu is not recalling until the moment that you dreamt this prior. But because you don't recall your dreams every night. You're not in there programming the dreams. Something happens and you go, oh, that was deja vu. But yet you already experienced that. So you might have just been running a parallel time frame. And then you jumped into that. So I think that pretty much addresses these couple questions here. And I'll try to, like I said, the last few videos I did, there's a lot of comments on. And as always, I appreciate all the comments. And I don't really like starting to get into feedback too often on typing because I think there's too much room for miscommunication. So I'd rather just do it via this and try to access the questions and deliver the message this way. And finally, yeah, have a beautiful evening or day or whatever time it is, y'all. Talk soon.